Hello everybody, Ark here, and today we are going to be doing a short video, well not necessarily short, but as the year ends, I kind of wanted to just do a video kind of paying homage to somebody who I've been listening to for quite some time on YouTube, and he does some really amazing video with some good work. I mean, you can obviously hear it. This is all him making remakes of Final Fantasy, doing other tracks from other games, and even making some of his own original music. So today we're going to be doing a bit of a homage, so to speak, to his works and doing a top 10 list for him. Alright, there's not really any rules, just going by what I like and what I don't like. So if you disagree or you have tracks of his that you think deserve to be on here, let me know. That said, let's begin with number 10. Coming in at number 10 is his rendition of Final Fantasy IX's Crossing the Knoll, the overworld theme. I personally am not a big fan of this one, but despite the fact I can understand how good it is. Coming from someone who's played Final Fantasy IX quite a lot himself, still hasn't beaten it though. But I understand where he's coming from with how he did this, and I love the reimagining of it, as it's usually such a very austere and kind of offbeat theme for the game. The way it's done here is just perfectly done so. It's very orchestrated, very classical, and the instrumentation he uses to replace what's usually a lot of synth and beat in the original game comes in really well, and then it comes in where he incorporates it later into the song, as you can hear. It's just very well done, it's very smooth, very well edited, and personally, it's very relaxing, which is kind of what an overworld theme should be. It should be pretty consistent and pretty relaxing. And honestly, it's probably my second favorite overworld theme on here, personally. Next, we have the final scene from Sonic and Knuckles, coming in at number 9. I like the way this one is reimagined. And it's very well done. It's very dynamic, it's got a very like sort of rushed, almost dramatic feel to it. Which of course it's the final boss fight. It should feel dramatic. It should feel very urgent. That's the word I was looking for. But it should feel like, you know, you're trying to hurry up and beat this guy before he like does something to take over the world or whatnot, as is Robotnik's typical case. And it's just really well done. There's lots of climax to it. And it brings new life to a game that when I played on PC was just it wasn't bad, it's just the music was just very kind of not one-dimensional either. What's the word I'm looking for? I would just have to say it was very one-sided. It was all very dramatic. Not a bit of it was very calming, or any bit was it just kind of low-key. All of it was kind of big and out there. So to hear the dynamic changes and just the different instrumentation in this is it's very good. I love it. And I like what he did with this piece. I love this piece. I love what he did with it, and I love it's original. So picking this one was kind of a no-brainer. Where to put it on the list was kind of so. This one comes in at number 8 though, which is really sad for me, but I wanted to put it higher, but that was personal bias more than the actual reasons why it didn't make any higher. It's a very good piece. It's very well done, and it's just very... I like when he orchestrates the pieces and makes them a lot softer than they actually are in the game, because it gives them a sort of elegance, especially when it's not actual battle themes or, so to speak, themes that were like overly so in the games. And it does have a bit of a march theme into it later, like right here. But it's very subtle, and it blends in very well. The instrumentation of the flute, especially for the part in the game where it comes in, is just very, very well done. And it gives it much more of a Native American-ish sort of feeling to it, which I feel like it definitely benefits from. It's all very subtle and blended in, which makes it feel like almost a seamless piece all in of itself. I personally like this, and personally I would have put it a lot higher, but the pieces above it did just a little bit more than it. I like when I hear a theme or something from this game that I don't like originally, but I love its remake on here, and this is one of those pieces. I love Stirring the Forest from when he remakes it. It just has so much more elegance to it. And I remember playing this part in the game and just being like, this feels a little choppy. Like, it felt a little very stiff, but hearing it here, it flows so majestically. It's very stylized, and I love it. The addition of the instruments in this is also just very seamless, gives it almost kind of mystical sort of ambiance that's just, you don't hear in the original. And I'm not saying that just because, Final Fantasy IX we all know was made in the era that it was made in, and so there was only so much that could be done. You don't expect it to have the same production value as 12 or 13, but that's why it's nice to hear it like this, kind of remastered and redone, because it gives a breath of new life into the titles like this. And hearing this theme and just going back to remembering when I was playing this part in the game, it just would fit so well. It's a good thing that a remake such as this can make me want to go back and play the game again. And this definitely does it. And that's why it came in at number 7. We're going to take a minute and talk about this one. To go over all the reasons I really love compression of time. In my opinion, it's my personal favorite of all of his remakes. I've looked over a lot of remakes for compression of time just because it's one of my favorite pieces in Final Fantasy VIII. One of my favorite Final Fantasies. And whenever I hear it, they always overdo it. There's just so much being done in it. Too much. There's too many instruments. There's too much going on. It's too busy. When in the original, the compression of time was just a very simple piece. And I like the way he keeps it. Very subtle instrumentation, very, very, very sparse. And it gives that feeling of helplessness, that feeling of lonely, just because when you're in this part of the game, you're in a giant floating castle in the middle of the very fabric of time, trying to stop everything from coming in on itself and ending existence as we know it. But you're alone. Your party's been split up. You have no powers. You have no way of winning. You're basically left in a very hopeless, desolate situation. And I feel like this captures that beautifully. And it's something I love very much about a lot of his remakes, is that when he stays true to it, he enhances that original emotion. And that's something I definitely love about compression of time for Final Fantasy VIII. And just, listen to it. Every instrument has its part, plays its part, and it's truly someone who knows what they're doing with the instruments that they've gathered here. And I really love it. And this was one of the pieces that definitely caught my attention and just made me really start listening to him. Coming in at number 5, it is Bonds of Sea and Flame from Xenogears. It's one thing that a game gets you excited about a game that you used to play. It's another thing when a game can get you excited about a game that you didn't play. I didn't play Xenogears when it first came out. But after getting into BitSymphony for a while, I heard this track and had to go play it, and it's a good game. I've always been a fan of the Xeno series. Xeno Saga, Xeno Blade, and Xeno Blade Chronicles. Just loving all of them. But I didn't know Xenogears existed. Its track is amazing. And even though it's not as orchestrated or as smooth as this rendition of it is, I love Bonds of Sea and Flame. This, though, is just complete beauty. I love it to death. It's very wonderful. And I would honestly like to see him do more of the Xenogears series. Personally. But I think this one's just, it speaks for itself. Subtle where it needs to be, but strong and majestic where it wants to. Okay, I admit, this one's biased. This one's biased as fuck. I love Sid. I will not even attest to not being a Sid fanboy. I don't have to. I fucking love him. Like, it's Sid Highwind. How the fuck do you not? I love this piece and I love the video. First off, video totally amazing. Didn't realize me and Sid Highwind were born in the same month. Fuck yes. Even though he's a Pisces. But I'll live. But Sid Highwind is definitely a character who is he's very take charge. He's very aggressive. And this theme does it perfectly to a T, giving him a march pace, heavy percussion, and just all around just totally majestic and strong. That's Sid Highwind to a T. I mean, he's a tea drinking like cursing ass fool, but he gets the fucking job done. And he also has a very prolific side to him. He used to be part of the Shinra project as their lead scientist. Like, how the fuck are you not that amazing? Just saying. Also, he's a spear wielder. That's totally a plus. Dragoon? Yep. Fuck the world. But I love this theme. It does him justice. It does him good. And it's on number 4 because I'm biased as fuck and I love Sid Highwind. I regret nothing! Silence in Motion is a very underrated piece in Final Fantasy VIII. It's very beautiful. It's very serene and very jumpy. It's really like being in a child's toy chest when you're in there. It's very plucky. This rendition of it, however, is very symphonic, as you can see from the video. But it's just very well done, very beautifully paced. It's nice, slow, gives an almost air of wonder. I personally prefer this one over the original. It's just I love when I see remasters or remakes that are just like done in a completely different way. It's very beautiful and I love it to death. This is by hands down one of my favorite pieces that he's ever done. Just the majesty, the instrumentation, all of it just fits together so well. And personally, I feel like he did a very good job on this. I wouldn't be surprised if it took a lot of time though, because having to edit in, like try to take out all the plucky, cute little sound effects and like turn it into this piece of majesty had to take a lot of work though. But personally, I love it. I love what he's done with it, and I love the way it sounds. This piece is by far my favorite remaster that he's ever done on this channel. Point blank, period. It is beautiful. I've listened to this piece many times over, and it was, without a doubt, one of the pieces when I started making this list I said had to be on here. This piece is beautiful. It takes a very serene piece and makes it almost ethereal. It takes something that's very very kind of orchestrated, and turns it into a lullaby, which it is. It's titled The Bluefields Lullaby. It's very well done. There's not a whole lot to say about this piece, honestly. It's just the sound effects of the rain and then thunder give it almost a feeling of being trapped inside of your room during a thunderstorm and just kind of looking out at it. It's very mood setting. I listen to it a lot when I'm trying to go to sleep. It's a very calming piece, and I love the way it sounds. And it's the reason it's my favorite. But it only comes in at number 2. Let me tell you how much of an idiot this song made me. I heard this, and I was like, yep, this is on my list. So I went to look for which Final Fantasy it was from. Yeah, Ark didn't read. This is an original. And the reason why this video was called Top 10 Tracks by BitSymphony, because this isn't a remake. But it made me think it was. I personally thought it was from either 9 or 12. Both the games I've played all the way through, so I definitely was like, I don't remember where this track came from. But it's very good. It feels like you're in a lively forest full of mythical creatures that you're just tending to walk by. And as the piece progresses further and further, those beings tend to open up towards you and come near you and express themselves in ways. And it's a very good piece. I love it to death. I personally enjoy this piece the most out of everything he's done on here. I listened to it plenty of times. And that's why this is the #1 piece, Mystical Path by BitSymphony. Thank you everybody for watching, and the link for this playlist will be down there in the description. If you want to listen to more, please go check BitSymphony out. Please do. He's very well talented, and he has some way you can support him, and I will be doing so as well. Alright guys, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you want to see more lists from music or about what you guys want to see. I love you guys. Ark out. Bye-bye.